Hey there and welcome back. My name is Katie if you're new to my channel, and this is Louisiana Cooking and Living. And tonight we are making chicken fried steak for dinner. I already have all the sides kind of going on the stove. We're gonna have lima beans and corn to make succotash. We're gonna have mashed potatoes and gravy. And I even made some biscuits, and I've never made this recipe before. I will link, I got it from a YouTube video. I'll link the video in the description box. And if they turn out, we will make them together a different time. I just didn't want to do them on camera if they didn't really turn out like I had hoped they would. So we are going to make chicken fried steak, and you can either do yours in it's the cube steak that you buy at the grocery store. So, and it comes in like a steak size patty fillet thing. And you can either leave it whole. I slice mine and make it like strips, chicken fried steak strips. That's the way my kids have always liked them, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. And then we'll make a cream gravy with the drippings from the chicken fried steak to go on our mashed potatoes. So we will get started. So here I have my cube steak, and I am going to cut it into strips. And well, shoot, I already got my hands a little. I have some flour in this pan here, and I don't measure, I just put some flour in here, and then I do my pepper first, so then I can see how much salt I'm putting in. So I just sprinkle in some pepper that I think will be enough. And then I go back with my salt, and then I can see how much salt I'm sprinkling onto my pepper. And with flour, you always need a good bit of salt, because flour can make things pretty bland, and this is what's seasoning our meat up. So I'm gonna give this a stir, and as I cut my strips, I will throw them over here into the flour. So we have a nice speckle from our pepper. That's a good indication we have enough. All right, so we'll cut this into strips. If the strips seem to be too long, then I'll cut them in half too. But so that's about, I'm not good at measurements, maybe an inch wide, 3/4 of an inch wide. So I'll just throw them all in here. If you have any big areas of fat, you can cut those off. All right, so we have all of our steak sliced up, and now we will move over to the stove and start frying. All right, in my cast iron skillet here, I have it heating up on a medium. And I'm gonna pour some avocado oil in here. Now, this is like so many things in the South. Everybody's got their own little recipe, take on things, how they do things. And you could double batter this chicken fried steak, where you would flour it, then you'd put it like an egg wash batter, and then you put it back in the flour. I don't prefer doing it that way when I'm making gravy out of the drippings, because I find you get those chunks of that, the battery stuff in here, and I don't want that in there. So I've stirred my pan around with my meat and the flour, and then I go back and I press them really good in the flour so they can get good and coated, and then I just lay them out. And we don't have much oil in there, just because we are pan frying this, not deep frying it. I just lay them in there. And it takes like 2 to 3 minutes per side, and once you've flipped them and cooked the other side, they're pretty much done, because this isn't a thick piece of meat. And it's the way it's been tenderized. It's got all those nooks and crannies for the heat to travel up into. It doesn't take long to cook these. I usually get all my sides going before I even start doing this. So I have my, I don't know if you can see my lima beans on the back burner. And here on the front are my potatoes boiling for my mashed potatoes. And the corn doesn't take long, so those will be last. Alright, we're going to get these fried up. You don't want to crowd your pan because you don't want them to sweat. You want them to brown. And they will shrink up a bit, so if you wanted to add some more in here, I think I might add another one right there. Potatoes are done, so we're going to drain. Now I'm going to get my corn going on this burner. Shift these over. Turn my fire up a little bit, they're not getting crispy. There we go, that's the color you're looking for. So I'll probably give these the final flip just to make sure their color is good on the other side. Alright, so I finished taking all the meat out and I put it on a baking sheet lined with a paper towel and then a cooling rack, and my oven is still warm from the biscuits, and I just put it in here to keep them warm. And now we're going to make our gravy. I'm leaving the residual avocado oil from the bottom with the drippings. It doesn't even cover the whole bottom of the skillet. So I'm going to take my already seasoned flour. We're not throwing that out. We're going to go ahead and use that. And we're going to make our roux to make our gravy. And you just, sorry I don't have measurements, but I just eyeball it. I just put enough flour in here to pretty much soak up all the oil that's in there. If I feel like I put too much flour in there, I can add a little bit of oil back in. So I'm going to say that was about, I'm kind of scoop it all to one side. A half to 3/4 of a cup of flour. So we don't need to get a lot of color on this. We just want to cook the flour so it's not raw. And it will pick up all those brown bits off the bottom of the skillet. That's what gives your gravy the flavor. I want to show you these biscuits. So far I'm super happy with how they turned out, and we will taste them together though, and so I'll see, you know, if I want to go ahead and make them for you guys. Alright, so once we think we've got it toasted enough, we're going to add our milk. And again, this is another thing I just don't measure. I pour and see if I need more. I prefer whole milk, but all I have is 2% right now, so that's what we're going with. And a trick my mom did when we were growing up, just to make it a little bit more affordable to make the gravy, because milk can be expensive, is she would do half milk, half water. So you still got the creaminess of the milk, but then it was stretched with the water. And so with a thickener like a roux or cornstarch or whatever, you don't have the full thickness until it comes to a boil. So we're going to bring this up to a boil. Turn my fire up a little bit. And then we'll taste and season. Of course, we've already got our salt and pepper in here from before. But flour, like I said, needs a lot of seasoning, so we will taste it and see if we need to add some salt and pepper. You don't want this to burn, so we're going to stir, stir, stir. All right, so see, we're bubbling now, and it's thickened up really nicely. But I think I'm going to add a little bit more milk to this. So we have our mashed potatoes right here, our lima beans, and then I don't know if you can see, you can't see that pot back there. That's where our corn is. But we will plate this up and taste it together. All right, that looks good. So I'm going to turn this all the way down on low. We'll get a spoon and we'll taste test it. I'm just add a touch more salt. It's really good though. Nice and peppery. There's not much milk in this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it in here. Because as this cools, it will get thicker. I'll whisk this all together and we are ready to make our plate. I feel like my cheeks are a little rosy. It gets really hot when you're cooking all this in the kitchen, have the oven going. All right, so here we go. Here's our yummy dinner. All right, I'm gonna take a bite of the chicken fried steak. I'm gonna dip it in my gravy. It's so hot. Very good. We're gonna get a bite of this biscuit now. See how the layers in it? I did pull it open and put some butter in it. That biscuit with sausage gravy for breakfast would be so good. I'm gonna get some extra gravy to dip my biscuit in tonight. Let me get a sip of my tea. Gotta have my sweet tea. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed this chicken fried steak, and if you've never made it before, I hope you take the adventure and make it because it is so good. It is not hard to make. It does take some time just because you're frying each individual one. I mean, obviously you get numerous ones in your skillet depending on how many you're making and how big your skillet is. Then you got to pull them out to make the gravy, but everything cooks while you're doing the chicken fried steak. This is one of those meals that if you have time, it does take about an hour to fully make the whole meal from start to finish. But you know what? Sometimes you just do those to make the memories with your family. This is one of my son's favorite, and he requested it, so I texted him and said I'm making it, and he's coming over tonight for dinner. And it's just one of those things that you just take the time sometimes to make this meal. And sometimes you need a quick little 30-minute meal. So I hope you give this a try if you've never done it. And thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Thanks.